so I get there. Paul Gambaccini is this guy. He's a very expert guy. He does the Guinness Book of Hit singles, and he's an encyclopedia of music. But he's very factual.
Yeah,
and
I noticed that.
Oh, you heard it, right?
Yeah.
And so I get there. They don't know what's happening. They don't know when it's starting. We're sitting there. They don't know who's going to be doing what or saying what. So I'm winging. When you say wing, right, and when you say a big audience of people watching, millions of people watching, I'm winging this. I don't know. I'm like, there's Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown. He's coming up to say a few words. And then you hope he's going to talk straight away. It was really difficult.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a woman screaming in my ear and Paul Gambaccini's talking and I'm not listening to what he's saying. I'm just letting him talk, thinking. But obviously Paul was being very, to some people felt he was being insensitive.
Yeah, he kind of had that.
Yeah, that factual thing about. But you see, British people are very critical of things like memorials like that. They looked at, Usher crying and touching the, to a lot of Brits, that's like, what are you doing, And so there had to be that balance. I couldn't be over sentimental. So I'm broadcasting. That's where you have to. We got some criticism. I know for a fact. Some of the hardcore Michael Jackson fans weren't really that pleased. But when I came off, I didn't tell barely anybody I was doing that because it was so short notice. When I came off, my phone had blown up. There's like 30 text messages on there. Well done, mate. You did that. I couldn't believe it. I just turned it on and your voice.
You have to be like a certain level of professional.
Yeah, it was difficult. It's difficult, man. It was difficult. But it really hit me a couple of times. I had to hold it together because when Queen Latifah came up and started talking about, because we're about the same age, and she was talking about growing up, and I remember it was very difficult. Yeah, very difficult. But I think at least when he passed away, people started celebrating his music more than the freak show.
The drama.
Yeah, because the music was awesome, man, and the amount of records he sold that week was ridiculous, So at least people were remembering him. I think more for the music than the nonsense.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the 90s. I mean, unfortunately, I was too young to be partying in those days. I loved the hip hop, but most importantly the R&B,
right,
and that whole kind of golden era.
Yeah.
What was it like being not only like a music lover, but a DJ?
At the middle of it all.
When tracks that are now classics, they were fresh.
We were playing. I ain't gonna lie to you, best time ever.
Yeah.
Best time ever. I had a club called Club Yo-Yo. There's about 3 clubs I used to run. One night called Club Yo-Yo. Respect at the WAG. Obviously. The lick parties when they started were just awesome, and you're talking about tunes like 112 coming out. First week comes out. I used to have a record shop as well, working record shop. So every step of the way, I had, you get the vinyl, you get it on, you cut
and then like
you
2
cut
weeks
the
later,
sleeve,
the remixes
you
come
put it on, in the
then
shop, you start selling it. You go on your radio station, you play it. You go to a club, you play it. I had a great time. It was like some of the Bad Boy era, the whole Bad Boy era, Total, the whole, all these labels were awesome. And R&B was at its best in the 90s and early 2000s. There's no question, so many good artists. And the hip hop was still finding itself as a commercial sort of thing. And the good thing for me with hip hop was trying to meet R&B head on. So like Biggie was a perfect hip hop R&B artist in the sense that people who loved R&B loved Biggie.
So that was a feature.
Yeah,
on a,
that was their rapper, man. Biggie was their rapper. As Puffy would say, he's nice on the mic. You know what I mean? He just, if you're in a little rave, he was. And we used to, and the ability to throw parties with, we threw the biggest R&B parties I think this country's seen. I mean, we did 5,000 4 times in Leeds lit parties, and to go on and the first time play things like, Be Faithful and all that Faith Evans stuff and see 4,000 people getting down to it was awesome.
I'd just do one more, just one more. So that
it doesn't, no, but you know what, it's a different time. I was talking about it last night. I talk about it every week to people, you can't recreate what it was like. I'll tell you why, the simple reason is why. YouTube's killed it. The internet's killed the intrigue and mystique about music, especially with R&B, because you still had to go to a club. People still used to come to me and go, what's that tune you just played? Now I don't get that. Because all the kids know all the music before they walk through a club door. Very rarely will they walk up to the DJ and go, I don't know that, what was that? Yeah. It's different. And the videos, like I was doing The Lick. The Lick was a show on MTV that was a go-to show for R&B videos. We had exclusives every week, I'd sit there going, literally, that was my Lick sofa, right there. So I'd sit there and I'd be like, before the show starts, thinking, how many exclusives we got this week? And they go, well, we got a new Nas and Puffy, we got that one, we got something else, got something.
And they're all leaked, like.
Well, yeah, they're leaked, but you felt people were watching, and you couldn't wait to drop it in a club the next week, and you could see the change. You know what I mean, as it happened, and it was great. Now, if they're not leaked? What the artists do? If someone says, "What's the next big thing?" I say, "I don't know," because they won't let me have it. They won't let anyone have it. I used to have records for 6 months before they got released. Now they release them to everybody at the same time because they want a hit straight away. They want an instant hit. They want no leakages, no bootlegging. You know, so it's different. It was a great time.
Yeah.
It's a great time for R&B. I think now it's a little bit more cynical. You know, it's all about money. I think, like with hip hop, in the old days, if you couldn't cut it on the mic, you were lame. End of story. No matter how much records you sold, you were lame, right? When I first had P Diddy's first ever record, I carried it in my record box for like a month before I played it. I just refused to accept he was a rapper, right? He's a producer with Mace. Can nobody hold me down? Can't no. You know, I was like, I can't play that. You know what I mean? Because he's not rapping like, you know, the guys I really like. It's not Jay-Z, he's not Nas, he's not this guy. No. But then one day I was running out of records to play, and I thought, gosh, I can't find a record. And I quickly put it on. I thought, I'm going to put this on, and the place went mad. It just erupted because I think, giving him his credit, he was the first to really start that kind of, you're not a classic rapper, but you're on a rap tune that can be big, and he was the first who dared to do that and not be skilled as an MC to the nth degree, you know. And now everybody does it.
Everyone's like Ja Rule and Nelly, those kind of.
Well, everybody does it. I mean, they've got more skills than P Diddy had. In fairness, they're more MC-ish, to be fair, but they do hip hop.
Yeah.
And Diddy did hip hop first, but he did it at a time when there's some heavyweight rappers around, and hip hop was still about, you got to be down, man, you got to be down, you got to be gangster, you got to be this, you got to be that. But he just came up with the party and bullshit stuff, and it worked. So, you know, and now we've got a situation where hip hop, for me, is partially dead as we knew it. It's just morphed into something else. It's like hip hop might as well be dirty pop, might as well be, it can be dance, it can be pop, it can be everything, you know what I mean? There's a bit of it in what Black Eyed Peas is doing. It's not hip hop, it's pop, but there's hip hop elements about it. So it's changed.
It's funny how you were saying about YouTube kind of ruining the mystique. What about Twitter? Are you on Twitter?
I don't do Twitter, man. I had someone did a real fake Trevor.
And I saw that.
And it was one of my producers. She didn't tell me, and I was like, "This is real fake Trevor." And I was looking at it, I was thinking, but then I did it for a little bit, and I thought, I don't think people are that interested in everything you're doing. I mean, but I look at my week, like this week, and I think, well, maybe they would be, but I think, when you're gonna stop? Would you blur the truth with lies?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be honest, really honest about Twitter, it's going to be sensational, isn't it? Because you're going to go into stuff that people don't need to know about you. So what I think is people keep spoon feeding people stuff that they just want to hear.
But do you think, like, because there's a kind of debate that how people say it's good because celebrities and musicians have a sort of platform to communicate
Directly
with
to
their
the fans. Yeah,
but then or does it ruin, again, the mystique of being an artist, the fact that we're not meant to know what you have for
I think that the world has changed. I think when I was growing up, my idols were untouchable. I didn't want to actually be able to touch them. I wanted to aspire to touch them, right? Of course, if one day Michael Jackson was sitting in my front room, I'd be like, ah! But the truth is, I never expected or what. I look at a star as someone who's, the reason I think they're a star, they're untouchable, they're out of reach, right? They're out of reach. I don't want someone saying to me, yeah, you know, it's like, I never see myself as that. But when I moved around here and I got divorced and I started having to do my own shopping and all this stuff, I'm walking down the supermarket and guys walking up and going, where's your security, man? And all this sort of thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, they just think you're big, you know, you're something special. The truth of the matter is, and it's almost like they're disappointed. Like, you know, like it's like if you drive a car and they see the car and they don't think it's big enough. They're like disappointed. It's like, well, you're pushing, you know. It's like they don't want to see you, right? But they do. Does it make sense? But in this day and age of celebrity, everybody wants to be famous. So if you can reach out and touch someone via Twitter, it's like opening a personal magazine as far as you're concerned. Like if you put a copy of Heat in front of you, me and your cameraman, you put it there, and the three of us are sitting here, and me and him say, we don't read Heat. I definitely don't buy it. And you might go, so I read it sometimes. If it's there for an hour, we will open it and look at it. You cannot help it. That's the temptation of celebrity. And I think Twitter is just the starting point of that, you know, this communication thing. Personally, it's not for me, but I know that loads of kids love it. Facebook, I kind of get. I think they're all the same in a different way, but I don't feel the pressure to do that because maybe it's because I'm on radio every day, and maybe it's because somehow I say.
Trevor.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want some overload, you know. I mean, there's, you know, I'm on telly, I'm on radio, you know, I'm happy talking. If I was an artist, though, I think I'd do it. I definitely would, because artists are scared of losing their fan base. They're really scared. And an artist makes an album and then spends a year on tour, and every other country in the world doesn't see that artist. Then they make an album 18 months later, and in that time they could lose their fan base. So they do anything to keep in communication. It's fear, it's insecurity, and that's all it is, I think. And it's fun for some of them. Some of them are funny. I would just lie anyway. I'll make up stuff.
Like what?
Oh, just crazy stuff. Like I'm naked on an ice glacier in Iceland right now, snowboarding. Who's going to prove I'm not? Why not?
You could twit-pic pictures.
But you know the downside of Twitter? There's now those other Twitter sites. There's all the fake ones, and there's all the bitching that goes with Twitter.
Yeah.
Like people will say stuff on Twitter, and then there's all those people
Well,
who
yeah,
are just...
you can reach anyone and say anything to them.
They're more interesting, those guys. Because I just check them to make sure I'm not on there. Because they're funny. Because they rip people, you know, rip people. And because they're invisible, they can say what they like. And there's some horrible things being said out there about people. And that's the downside of the mystique's gone when people are saying, yeah, but what I heard is that he does this, or she's like that, and all this sort of stuff. And this person's got a facade up, and all of a sudden, nah, that ain't true. You know, this kind of stuff. So imagine Twitter 20 years ago. You know what it'd be? That rapper who everyone's going mad about, he ain't really gangster. Because I know, here's a picture of him from, you know, and it'll be like, that rapper don't write his own rhymes, you know, all the things that we, you know, most people thought Dr. Dre was one of the hardest core rappers ever, and he wrote everything. You know, if you don't dig deep, you don't know. But then you find out, oh, actually, most of the stuff's really
Everything's so available.
You know what I mean? It's different. So, and the mystique of hip hop might have been crushed a little bit. So I'm glad it wasn't around then, because I didn't want to know that NWA weren't all not from the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it is, isn't it?
You may or may not know S1.EP25 is a platform, mostly focuses on UK artists, giving them a sort of platform to be seen like via the internet.
Right.
Who are you feeling in the UK at the moment?
Who isn't? I mean, another conversation I was having today. I mean, okay, there's so many MCs right now. My daughter will kill me if I say the wrong thing, so I'm not going to say the wrong thing. Am I Marley? Exactly. I ain't stupid, you know. She's always schooled me on that. But no, I think that when you say feeling on a creative level, I'm not feeling on a creative level. That's not where I'm at anymore. You know, my job right now is taking people from just below the surface to over. Right. My years of being this hardcore specialist DJ at over. You know, my aim is to give one extra this certain kind of shine and audience and stuff. Do a party thing on Radio 1 and do something. So I look at people like Wretch32 and I go, I like what he's doing. I like some of the stuff he does. I look at someone like Tiny Temper, Mr. Sexy Beast himself, who's just signed his record deal, and I'm thinking, I wonder what he's going to come with on a pop level. Because that's where I think he's going straight away. Do you know what I mean? I look at guys who are juggling them and getting a big fan base on the internet, you know, and garnering support before they release something big, you know. But then I look at Wiley, and Wiley's come back with 2 tunes right now that I think is just incredible for where the scene's at. You know, after an album that was really disappointing, he's come back with Take That and that Your Woman, which I think Your Woman, that tune is just sick.